Let's bring in Stuart Varney on the Fox Business Network. Stuart, you heard Hillary Clinton. Actually, let's start with this. Here she is talking about, she's figured a new buzzword phrase to try to ding Trump with this one. Here she was Monday night.
I call it trumped up trickle down, because that's exactly what it would be. That is not how we grow the economy.
Okay, she didn't really explain it, but what would trumped up trickle down be?
That is how we grow the economy. And growing the economy is a way to return to prosperity. I think that's absolutely vital for America at the moment. Trump grows the economy with his plan. Hillary's plan does not. Let me explain. Donald Trump would lower the top rate of corporate taxation, right, from 35% down to 15%. Yep. That could bring back some of the $2 trillion that's now lodged overseas. They don't want to bring it back because the tax rate's too high. Can you imagine if it was just, what, say 30% of that? 70-odd, I don't know, $700 billion? How's that for a stimulus program? And how about cutting individual tax rates so that you and I can keep more of the money, which we actually earn, and put it into private enterprise?
Trickles down.
But that's a pejorative word. That's a nasty word that they invented.
It worked okay for Reagan.
It worked perfectly for Ronald Reagan. He lowered tax rates and set off a boom that lasted a generation.
They come back and they say the deficits are big, and Barack Obama ran against trickle down. He says it never gets down.
Ronald Reagan cut taxes, grew the economy, but because Congress would not cut spending, we had a deficit. Right. That's what happened back then. Don't try to rewrite history.
Why didn't he stick up for it? Why didn't he come back and say trickle down works?
Well, I don't think he wanted to use a pejorative expression like trickle down that doesn't have very good associations, does it? And I don't think he gave a very good defense of his economic plan. I think he should be out there saying, we need prosperity, we need growth, here's how you do it. Look at Hillary's plan. More government spending, higher taxes. That's what we've had for 8 years. They never say spending, they always say investment. That's what we've had for 8 years, and it has not worked.
Remember?
All we've got is 1% growth now and 2% for the last 7 years. Not good enough.
Remember in the debate when she's talking about him releasing his tax returns and says, in the years past, you haven't paid taxes? He says, that's because I'm smart. Maybe. He says, that's because I'm smart. You agree with that?
Well, every single person in America tries to minimize the taxes that they pay. Is that not correct?
Yeah, you try to pay the most you can?
Yeah, show me the lunatic who says, gee, I've got to work out how to pay much more in taxes. I'm not paying enough already. I've got to pay more. Show me that person.
Sure, you got to pay what you owe, but you want the number to be as small as possible.
You stick within the law, but you want the number as small as possible. Of course you do. Everybody does that.
Well, when you make money at that rate and invest at that rate and take the risk at that rate, of course there are tax write-offs. Every time you build a stadium in a city, there are tax incentives to build that stadium. If you want to build a building in an emerging market, there's incentives to get a Trump to do that. That's part of the thing that he should explain to people.
Stuart, when was the last time GE paid taxes?
Well, they do pay corporate taxes, but not a whole lot in corporate taxes. I don't know for a fact, but I think they've got a lot of money parked overseas where they pay a much lower tax rate.
Sure.
Look at Apple. Apple's got more than $200 billion, almost all of it. This is in cash. Almost all of it overseas. They don't bring it back because if they did, they'd pay 35% tax rate. They leave it over there.
That is part of what people do at that level. You want to talk about it, but he's got to define it. He can't leave it out there.
Look, capitalism is not popular. You've got to find a way of expressing capitalism to produce growth and prosperity that's attractive to voters.
Where is Brian?
He hasn't got there yet.
Brian has a good point. He needs to do a better job of explaining some of those things for the public.
Brian is right.
Brian is right.
Brian has a good point. Brian is right. I just want this moment to last forever.